Hey guys, if you watched my last unboxing video, you saw that I got the new Nike Alpha U. So right now I'm just going to do a first impressions video of it and how it's strung up. So just for starters, I have it strung with Stringer Shack G through ultralight mesh. As you can see, it's a nice mid pocket, mid and high, and it tilts high a little bit. Shifts a little bit. I haven't thrown with this yet, so the mesh hasn't softened up too much yet. So did the pocket very well. It's pretty defined, pretty good channel. It's actually pretty tight, and from the front you can see the channel also, which is nice. So for the head, I'm just going to talk about it for a little bit. So it has a lot of stringing holes, as you can see, and they have that kind of what's the shape? They're kind of like a rhombus, kind of, where as you can see, they have corners. That's kind of nice because you can like lock the strings, as you can see it. You can like lock them up into the corner, which also helps. So also these string holes are very large, which I kind of like. The ones up top are huge though, so if you're using thin string, it could possibly slip through. But you just want to make sure you do thick knots. As you can see, they're huge compared to the regular sidewall holes. The regular sidewall holes are also a good size because as you can see, you can put in shooting strings. Also, if I wanted to put a shooting string inside that hole, I could easily do it. Here I have some shooting strings, so if you see, I can just easily put it through with an aglet where there's already a sidewall string. So that's nice. Also, if you had a Chenango top string in mind, you could easily do that without worrying about your holes being too small down at the bottom. So the face shape is pretty wide. It does remind me of a Proton U. And also, it's not very stiff, but it's not really flimsy at all. I think the CEO is stiffer brand new than this one. I think this has a similar stiffness to the Lakota. I haven't used a Lakota in a while though. But the bottom rail has a little bit of flex. As you can see, it's flared in a little bit. That's from stringing or stretching my knots pretty tightly, as you can see. And the top rail is very stiff, as you can see. Also, I think the scoop is awesome. This head reminds me of a lot of the Bryant Edge Superlight, but this one I tested against my Bryant Edge Superlight, and this one is a lot stiffer than the Superlight, but it's softer than the original Edge. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But once again, I do like the scoop. It's angled nicely. It does have a little bit of a curve to it, so that will help with your accuracy, especially if you're taking the ball downfield and you're going to rip a shot. The offset, it's a little bit, unlike Nike, this one's a little bit more gradual, and it slopes all the way down. It doesn't really have a kick point. It's just a pretty nice gradual slope. But I think you still get some pretty good power in with this head, especially with the way that the scoop is pointed and how it's curved. But yeah, that's really for my first impressions. I took the pocket very well, as you can see. Once again, nice mid to almost mid-high pocket, great channel. So also I used the Calvin shooting string setup. I'm trying to use this for offense. I'm going to put some shots through this, and Brand's going to put some shots through this, and then Brand's going to put it on the pole and test it out a few practices. So stay tuned. That's it for the Nike Alpha U first impressions.